she sat on that stage talking about, I don't want a baby, I don't want a baby, even divorced a man for wanting a baby. Fast forward years later, she's got a baby. Women are allowed to change their minds. Hi guys, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for being here. So today I want to talk about what is currently trending on Twitter. It's Jeannie Mai from The Real announcing her pregnancy. For those who are not familiar with pop culture and celebrity gossip, Jeannie Mai is like I think she used to be like a fashion host back in the day, and for the past few years she's been a host on the talk show called The Real. And for the past, they're on 8th season now, for the past 7 seasons, Jeannie Mai has been very, very adamant about the fact that she does not want kids. She was married to this guy for I don't know however many years, and they even went through a divorce because he was trying to change her mind about having kids and she was not having it. Jeannie and her husband went and had a divorce, and I think before the divorce was even finalized, he had a baby with his girlfriend. That's how desperate he wanted a baby, and that's how much she didn't want a baby that she was willing to let go of the marriage. But now she's pregnant. She has remarried and she is pregnant. And now everyone is just like, wow, she sat on that stage talking about, I don't want a baby, I don't want a baby, even divorced a man for wanting a baby. Fast forward years later, she's got a baby. Women are allowed to change their minds. That's why it is very important for people to be pro-choice. That's why everyone needs to be pro-choice. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we are talking about the fact that as a woman, you can literally go your entire life thinking that you don't want to have kids or you don't want to get married until you meet someone who was willing to change your perspective, or maybe you just see things differently because you are with them and you feel safer with them, and your past traumas are not as they don't creep in as much as they did with your previous partner. I can relate to Jeannie when it comes to the kid part. She's got a lot of other things that she says that I don't relate to, but when it comes to the kids part, I can relate to her. I've got 2 kids, as you guys know, but because of childhood traumas, I never wanted children. I don't like my childhood. I will much rather be an adult than having to redo my childhood. And because of the way I grew up, I always promised myself that I'm never going to have kids because I don't want to bring kids into this world. And instead of saying I would rather not raise my kids this way, I grew up saying I'm just not having kids, period. But God had other plans, and I have to say I'm very grateful for God's plan, because I don't see my life in any other way without these kids. I'm not going to go too much into my first child because I had her when I was 18. I really didn't know what I was doing. I don't know what was going on. I fell pregnant and I had a baby. So at that time, I wasn't aware of a lot of things. I was just like, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm 18, I'm gonna have a baby. I think I knew that I had the cushion of my parents to fall back on, so it wasn't really something that obviously I didn't think about having a baby at 18, but when I found out I was pregnant, it was like, okay, cool, I'm having a baby. But then I had my second child 12 years later because I always thought that I didn't want to have another child. Even my friends were used to tell me that, oh, we see you as that mom of 1. And that's how I saw myself, literally for the rest of my life. But fast forward to 12 years later, I then had a second child. After I met my first baby daddy, deadbeat baby daddy, we were in school, I finished school and I moved on with my life. I think a year after maybe 2 years after I had my firstborn, I met this man that I later almost married. I was in a relationship with for just over 5 years, and I literally thought that was the rest of my life. I thought this was the man I'm gonna be with for the rest of my life. And as much as I knew that I didn't want to get married, but I knew that was the someone I wanted to be with for the rest of my life. But I've always known that I didn't want to have children. Up until later, then I realized that the with him was silent. But during the time during our relationship, I always made it very clear that we are not having kids. He had his own son and I had my own daughter, and I just felt like this is just how it's going to be for the rest of our lives. Me and you are not having kids because I'm done having kids. There is no contraceptive that I was not on while I was in that relationship. I was on the injection. It fucked me up so badly. I gained weight, my libido was down, my hormones were crazy, but I didn't care. I was also on the pill, we were on the condom. There was absolutely no contraceptive I was not on. I even wanted to try the loop at some point because I just wanted to like make double, triple sure that I'm not having kids at all while I'm in this relationship. Actually, at that time, I just thought I'm not having kids at all because that's what I think I want in life. We never had kids. And I think everyone thought that me and him were gonna be like, have kids and be this beautiful family. And maybe, I don't know, I'm sure he did too, because I know that he wanted kids. And I think that he thought that I was gonna change my mind later on and have kids with him. But I've known that I didn't want to. And I know that in hindsight, I know that having kids with him would have meant that I was safer. I wouldn't be going through this maintenance courts with situation. I wouldn't be going through deadbeats because he was such a family man. He's got a second child now with someone, and he's like a present dad. I think they're probably about to get married now with his baby mama, but like he's that person that I always known him to be. But I did not see him that way. There was a lot that was happening in that relationship. I felt very unsafe. It was also quite physically and financially abusive. But at that time, I didn't think those were the reasons why I didn't want to have kids. I just thought I just don't want to have kids. But now that I think about it, I know that I didn't want to have kids because of those reasons. I remember my sister saying that I think if you stayed with him, you probably would be on kid number 4 now, married and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I probably would have been married. He probably would have twisted my mind into getting married, twisted my mind into having children. I probably would be very unhappy. I'd be in a stable relationship, but very unhappy. So I'm glad that that was over, and I'm glad that he's happy and he got exactly what he wanted. Fast forward, me and him break up into year 6 into our relationship. We break up and I start living my life, meeting new people, dating again, because I was 21 when I met him. So I was fresh out of varsity. I did not live, I did not date. Like, it was literally it for me. So when we broke up, I started meeting new people, started dating, and then I met my second child's baby daddy. We had the child, even though that before I even get to, okay, I met my second child's baby daddy. I think by 2 years after my ex and I broke up, I started wanting children. I started feeling like, you know what, I could do this again. But it was so crazy because I spent almost 6 years convincing myself that I didn't want to have kids. But like all of a sudden now, and I was single at this point. I'm single as fuck, but like I'm looking at kids, I'm getting broody. I had never been broody in my entire life. I'm getting broody, I'm looking at my friends having kids, and I'm just like, this is nice. I actually wouldn't mind this. I went from being the friend who plans the baby showers to being the friend who wants to be in the baby shower. But I didn't understand what was going on, and also I was single, so I was just like, whatever, it's just a phase, just a phase. And then I met my child's father, and falling pregnant and having a baby was so easy, and it wasn't even a question for me. Like I felt pregnant, and I knew, like I was just like, God, you and me, this is it. I love you so much. Thank you for this gift. It was literally when I found out I was pregnant, I was so happy about it. I knew that this is what I needed and it's what I wanted. And I still continued with life like, okay, cool, I'm pregnant now. And then I think it only hit me that me being pregnant may have affected someone else not so greatly. Because when my ex found out I was pregnant, he called me and he was just like, congratulations. And I said, thank you. And he said, you know what, but this is bittersweet for me because in our relationship, you never wanted kids, and all of a sudden you're pregnant and you're posting and you just, all you're talking about is your pregnancy on social media. And I'm like, I guess, people change and life changes. But after that phone call, I actually sat down and I was just like, let me do some introspection fairly. Why didn't I want kids in that time frame? And why am I happy with having kids now? And what is it about this situation compared to the previous situation, because if anything, my ex would have given me the comfort and stability I would have needed to be able to raise children in a household, to be able to be a mom without having to fight people in court, and I know for sure he was going to be a present father. I wouldn't have been going through the stress that I'm going through now. But what is it? Why didn't I want to have children? And then obviously that's when I came to the realization that it's the with you that is silent, the with him that was silent at that time for me. I knew that I didn't want to have kids, but with you, you know, because now I'm with someone else, and as much as me and this person are rocky, I'm actually happy about my pregnancy, and I don't think I would have been this happy if I had fallen pregnant while I was with my ex. As I said, as I've mentioned, my ex would have given me stability. I wouldn't have been going through baby daddy drama. I wouldn't be going through in and out of court. I wouldn't be looking for, I wouldn't be worried about my children not having father figures. I would have all the comfort and stability in the world. And granted, the person I ended up having a child with is not the ideal person, but if I would do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing. Because I know for sure that I didn't want to have kids with that person, and I know for sure that God obviously had my back in that by making sure that I don't have kids with that person. Even though I was on like 5 different types of contraceptives with that person, I knew I was never going to have kids with that person. And I know that God obviously, and God has our life planned out for us, and I'm not mad for being a single mom. Obviously it hurts, being a single mom hurts, but I'm not mad because I feel like God knew exactly what he was doing by giving me children this way. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm making sense. Like with my first kid, and as I said, I didn't think much about it. I knew I didn't want to have kids growing up, but then I had my first kid, and it's like, okay, cool, we're here now. And if anything, I'm actually very grateful for my first kid. I was 18 and I was in school, and before I had my kid, I was very reckless. Like I was super reckless. If I did not have Alwande, I wouldn't be where I am today. Like that child was my saving grace. Like she put me together. I got my shit together because I knew now that I have someone that I need to take care of. So I know that both my children are not mistakes. I know that God had a plan for me, and with Alwande, that plan was just crazy, because I was just like, it's crazy how someone can make me get my life together like this at such a young age. I was 18, but I've got my life together real quick, you know. So I will forever be grateful for God giving me the gift that is Alwande, even though I thought I wasn't ready for it. Not even I thought, I knew I wasn't ready for it, but I'm grateful. And then with Milani, it's different. I prayed, I wanted her. Like I prepared myself to have a second child. So, and as much as the situation that I had my child in is not ideal, I know that it's gonna work for me. It has worked for me so far. And I know that if I had a child with my previous ex, I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be where I am today. There wouldn't be the millennial mom. None of this would exist. I probably would be somewhere in a house, feeling trapped in a marriage, and maybe with 4 or 5 kids later, I know for sure I would be very unhappy. But what I'm trying to say now, I digress. What I'm trying to say is that I know that there are some women who are very adamant that they do not want to have kids, whether they have a partner or not, and I know that they mean it, and I know that they may meet the most amazing man and they still not going to have kids. And I know that there are some women like me who are also adamant that they don't want to have kids, but I do know that it will take the right kind of partner to persuade me to have. I've got 2 kids right now, and ask me any day, I am done having kids. I'm so done having kids. But I didn't tie my tubes. I am not on any contraceptive. Okay, granted, I'm not dating anyone, but like I'm not doing anything to proactively prevent having children. So it means that I am open to having another kid, but if you ask me now, I'll tell you that I'm not going to have any more kids. So it means that I might say this today on my channel that I'm never having kids. 5 years from now, I might be coming back and say, ta-da, I'm pregnant. And that's okay. Women are allowed to change their minds. That's why we need to be pro-choice. And that's why we need to stay out of women's uterus business. Generally women's business, but like especially women's uterus, we need to stay away from that and let women make their own choices and let women change their minds when they want to. We are all allowed to do that. And I'm with Jeannie. I support Jeannie Mai in this decision. I mean, she doesn't know me for a can of soap. What? It's a can of beans, a bar of soap. She doesn't know me from a bar of soap, but I really, really do support her, and I really, really relate with her, and I feel her. Like, we all think that we don't want something, and some of us really, we know we don't want it, but some of us, it's because of our childhood traumas. It's because of our past traumas that makes us believe that now I don't want this. And then someone comes and then they break those walls and they make you feel safe. God win. I hope my person is coming also, but someone will come and they'll break those walls and make you feel safe and make you feel like you don't need to be this hardcore person who just like blocks all of their wishes and suppresses all of their wishes because of the way life has turned out for them in the past. I think that I'm open to that. So I'm really, really open to meeting someone who's going to make me feel safe. And I think once I do, I'll fall pregnant again, just like this. It's not even a question. It's just sad that obviously people change and you never know what may happen, but we don't want to think like that. You want to think that you will meet someone who's going to make you feel safe and happy, and you're going to want to have your children or get married or whatever the situation is. But moral of the story is, let's allow women to change their minds. Let's allow women to live their lives. And I don't know, are you in that situation? Did you grow up thinking that you don't want to have kids, and then you met someone who made you feel like it was okay and made you feel safe? And then how are you now? Or are you also a single mom but actually are okay with it because you thought you didn't want to have kids, but now you have them and you're like, what the hell? This is what I needed. This is what, I didn't know I needed this, but God knew that your heart needed it. Where are you in this situation? Or are you, I'm not having kids for the rest of my life, and that's okay. And honestly, guys, that is okay. Kids are not the end all be all, and kids are not like your way to prove your womanhood. Literally, they're not all that. If you don't want them, that's okay. Anyway, that is it for my little think piece. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.